Look, if you have recently adopted a dog, or you are planning to bring a rescue into your home anytime soon, there is a massive lie circulating online that is setting you up for complete heartbreak. Most dog owners completely skip what we are going to talk about today. They fall head over heels for a slogan, "Adopt, don't shop." It sounds beautiful on a t-shirt, right? But behind that phrase is a hidden, dangerous narrative that is causing thousands of well-meaning families to return their dogs to shelters every single year. Today, we're playing a game. I am going to break down the 5 dangerous adoption myths that almost everyone buys into. I want you to count how many of these you believed before clicking on this video. If you score even a 2 out of 5, your relationship with your dog is actively at risk. I have studied canine psychology for years and worked with thousands of dogs facing severe behavioral issues. Trust me when I say this, the rescue industry is broken, and the lies they tell you to get dogs out of kennels are hurting the very animals they want to save. Make sure you pay close attention to number 4. It is something literally nobody talks about, yet it is the exact reason why seemingly perfect rescue dogs suddenly bite without warning. Let us start with the biggest paradigm shift of all. The common belief out there is that rescue dogs are just blank slates. People think that if a dog is aggressive, anxious, or hyperactive, it is simply because their previous owner didn't love them enough. We tell ourselves, if I bring this dog home and give it a clean slate, it will become the perfect companion. But that belief is a total myth. The bold truth is that genetics hold the loaded gun, and the environment merely pulls the trigger. A massive 2019 study published in the journal Science analyzed the behavior of thousands of dogs and confirmed that breed and genetics dictate a massive portion of a dog's behavioral baseline. You cannot love behavioral genetics out of a dog. Think of it like a human analogy. Imagine taking a human being who was born with the natural physical architecture of an Olympic sprinter and forcing them to sit at a desk for 12 hours a day doing data entry, or taking a highly sensitive, introverted person and forcing them to be a high-volume nightclub promoter. They will burn out, panic, and experience intense distress because their internal hardwiring is constantly fighting their external environment. When you buy into the blank slate myth, you ignore what the dog was literally bred to do. If you adopt a high-drive herding breed or a powerful guardian mix and expect them to naturally act like a lazy couch potato just because you love them, you are headed for disaster. The consequence? Severe separation anxiety, destructive chewing, and barrier frustration. Before you say, "But my last rescue was perfectly fine," please listen up, because this is crucial. The solution isn't to avoid rescue dogs. The solution is genetic fulfillment. You must look past the cute face, accept the genetic history of the breed mix in front of you, and give that dog a daily outlet for their natural instincts, whether that is tracking, searching, or structured biological fulfillment. Next up is the dangerous illusion of the quiet kennel. The common belief is that the behavior a dog displays inside a shelter kennel is a true reflection of their actual personality. You see a dog sitting quietly in the back of the pen, looking sweet and submissive, and you think, "Wow, what a calm, gentle soul." That is a lie. What you are actually witnessing is behavioral suppression. When a dog is thrust into a loud, high-stress shelter environment, their brain floods with cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Peer-reviewed research from the University of Utrecht tracked shelter dogs and found that their cortisol levels remain massively elevated for weeks inside a shelter. To survive this extreme psychological distress, many dogs don't get angry, they shut down, they freeze. Think of the human analogy. Imagine you were suddenly arrested by mistake and thrown into a chaotic, maximum security prison. There are alarms blaring, people screaming, and total unpredictability. What do? You don't walk around making friends or picking fights. You sit quietly in the corner of your cell, keep your head down, and try to look invisible. You are not calm. You are utterly terrified and psychologically paralyzed. Now, look at the real-world consequence. You bring this calm dog home. For the first 2 weeks, they're an angel. Then, around week 3, something shifts. The stress hormones finally leave their system. They realize they're safe. Their true personality wakes up, and suddenly they're lunging at guests, barking at the door, or displaying resource guarding. This is called the shelter honeymoon phase, and it catches millions of owners completely off guard. Now I know what you're thinking. How do I prevent this if I can't trust what I see? The solution is to treat your new rescue dog like an unexploded asset for the first 30 days. Do not give them total freedom. Do not take them to a busy pet store or a dog park immediately. Provide strict boundaries, crate training, and predictable routines from day one. Let them decompress safely before you decide who they really are. This brings us to the third massive lie, the idea that affection solves trauma. The paradigm here is that if a dog has a dark, abusive past, the absolute best remedy is to shower them with unearned affection. We let them sleep in our beds the first night. We feed them scraps from the table, and we constantly hug and kiss them to make up for their old life. But here is the harsh truth. Affection without structure is a recipe for psychological instability. When a dog enters a human home after experiencing chaos, what their brain desperately craves is predictability and safety. In canine psychology, safety does not look like a plush mattress or a belly rub. Safety looks like clear rules. Let us use another human analogy. Imagine a young child who has spent years bouncing around an unstable, chaotic foster care system. They are finally placed with a new family. If those new parents say, "There are no rules here, you can eat candy for breakfast, stay up until 4 a.m. and do whatever you want," that child won't feel loved. They will feel completely unsafe. Without structural boundaries, their anxiety will skyrocket because they have no idea where the boundaries of their world lie. When you shower a traumatized rescue dog with endless, unstructured affection, you inadvertently reward their anxious states. You teach them that you are an unstable resource they can easily manipulate or feel the need to protect. The real-world consequence is a massive spike in severe separation anxiety and protective aggression. Before you get defensive, listen closely. I am not telling you to be cold or cruel to your dog. I am telling you to change your definition of love. True love for a rescue dog means providing a rock-solid routine. It means teaching them how to relax in a designated place, walking them on a structured leash, and earning your affection through calm behavior. If you are listening to this right now and realizing that navigating a rescue dog's psychology is far more complex than the internet makes it seem, please don't feel discouraged. It is not your fault that you were fed these slogans. But if you want to stop guessing and actually build a flawless, stress-free life with your adopted companion, you need a proven step-by-step roadmap. That is exactly why I spent months developing the Complete Rescue Dog Blueprint. It is an online video-by-video roadmap designed specifically for rescue owners. It walks you through the exact protocols to handle behavioral suppression, how to safely navigate the first 90 days, and how to build unshakable trust without creating separation anxiety. The link is right down there in the description box below. If you want to bypass the heartbreak and give your rescue dog the actual psychological structure they are begging for, check out the blueprint today. Let us get straight back to point number 4, the one that absolutely everyone misses. This is the big secret literally nobody talks about, the phenomena of an out-of-nowhere bite. The common belief among rescue owners is that a dog's aggression is like an on-off switch. People say, "He was totally fine all morning, and then out of nowhere he snapped and bit my friend." But canine behavior science tells us that dogs almost never snap out of nowhere. What you are actually dealing with is a critical concept called trigger stacking and the missing of a displacement behavior. Trigger stacking is the accumulation of multiple stressors over a period of time where no single stressor causes a reaction on its own, but together they push the dog completely over their emotional threshold. Think of this highly relatable human analogy. Imagine you have a terrible day at work. You wake up late. Then you spill hot coffee all over your clean shirt. You hit bumper-to-bumper traffic and get chewed out by your boss. Your computer crashes, deleting hours of work. You hold it together all day. You don't scream, you don't cry. You just keep your head down. But the moment you walk through your front door at home, your spouse asks you a totally innocent question like, "Hey, did you remember to buy milk?" And suddenly you explode in a fit of rage. Did you explode because of the milk question? Absolutely not. You exploded because of the stack of stressors that built up all day long. Your rescue dog goes through the exact same process. In the morning, a loud garbage truck drives by. That is one stressor. An hour later, the delivery driver rings the doorbell. That is a second stressor. Later, you try to brush their coat, which makes them uncomfortable. That is a third stressor. The dog hasn't barked or bitten yet, but their internal stress bucket is completely full. They start showing subtle displacement behaviors, simple out-of-context behaviors like licking their lips, yawning when they aren't tired, or shaking off their fur as if they are wet. These are a dog's silent cries for help. Then a guest walks into your house, reaches over the dog's head to pet them, and snap. A bite occurs. The consequence of ignoring trigger stacking is devastating. It is how dogs end up surrendered back to shelters with a bite history. The daily fix is simple. You must learn to read displacement behaviors. When you see your rescue dog yawning repeatedly during an interaction or intensely sniffing the floor out of nowhere, they are telling you their bucket is full. Stop the stimulation, remove them from the environment, and give them a quiet space to decompress. Finally, let us talk about the myth of physical exhaustion. The common belief is that a hyperactive, anxious, or destructive rescue dog just needs to be exercised more. Owners say, "He's chewing up my shoes, so I need to take him on a 5-mile run or play fetch for 2 hours to tire him out." But the truth is that over-exercising an anxious rescue dog just creates an incredibly fit, highly athletic, adrenaline-fueled dog with a massive tolerance for exercise. You are building an athlete, not fixing an anxious mind. What rescue dogs actually suffer from is a lack of structured rest, leading to severe cognitive fatigue, mental exhaustion that occurs when a brain is overwhelmed by processing new information. Let us use a human analogy. Think back to a time you had to study for a brutal, high-stakes exam, or spend 8 straight hours doing intense financial problem-solving. You sat in a comfortable chair all day. You didn't run a mile, lift a weight, or exert yourself physically at all. Yet by 5 p.m., your brain felt completely fried. You were physically exhausted, moody, and desperate for sleep. That is cognitive fatigue. Rescue dogs are constantly trying to decode a brand new human language, a new house, new smells, and new rules. Their brains are working in overdrive. When you take a mentally exhausted dog and force them into high-intensity physical exercise, you skyrocket their adrenaline and cortisol levels, making it impossible for their nervous system to settle down. The consequence is a dog that paces around the living room, chews furniture, and can never seem to turn off. The daily fix? Swap out 50% of your physical exercise for dedicated mental enrichment and enforced rest. Use sniffing mats, stuffed frozen food toys, and scatter feeding in the grass. 10 minutes of intense sniffing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering their heart rate and inducing deep, healthy sleep, far better than a frantic game of fetch ever could. Now we have broken down the science, the genetics, and the training mechanics. But please, look at me and listen closely to what I am about to say next. Your rescue dog doesn't know what a shelter is. They don't understand that the place they came from was overcrowded or that their previous owner made mistakes. All they know is that their entire world collapsed. They were thrown into a concrete box, and then suddenly they woke up inside your living room. Think of them like a young child who has been placed in a foreign country without warning. They don't speak your language, they don't understand your customs, and they're desperately trying to figure out if they are safe. You are their entire universe now. Every single window of safety they have in this world begins and ends with you. When they stare up at you with those wide, anxious eyes, they aren't trying to be difficult. They aren't trying to push your buttons when they bark at the window or chew up a blanket. They are crying out for leadership, predictability, and clarity. Adopting a dog is one of the most noble, beautiful things a human being can do. But true rescue work isn't about saving a dog with slogans. It is about having the courage to see the world through their eyes, dropping our human expectations and giving them the structure they need to survive in our complicated human world. Now, I want you to be completely honest with me. Go down to the comment section right now and tell me your score. Out of the 5 adoption myths we broke down today, how many of them did you honestly believe before watching this video? Don't be shy. We are a community of dog lovers, and being honest is the very first step toward becoming a better handler for your dog.